What's up, everybody? My name is Keisha Nadine. I am a new email developer, actually, as of recently. So I have been on this self-study journey, and I really have been wanting to document it um, prior to this, but I'll say, I don't know, maybe I was camera shy, maybe I was apprehensive about anyone actually watching it. I don't know. A lot of things were involved. Um, if you believe in MBTI, I'm also an INTP, so we're known to procrastinate quite a bit, so maybe that has something to do with it as well. Anyway, I'm here now. I've been working on this journey, not as consistent as I have wanted to since the very end of 2017. So I would say about November, December of 2017 is when I started um, kind of looking into and realizing that there were resources that would allow me to teach myself and to use online resources such as other folks' YouTube videos and courses and that online to learn how to code seriously enough to obtain a job in the field. So, a little bit about myself. I've been working customer service for the past decade or more, actually, a little bit more than a decade. I had my first customer service job um, 13 years ago, I believe. Um, and at the time, I come from a family where two of my younger cousins were actually the first to just graduate with a bachelor's degree, like this year and last year. So expectations were not that high. So when I first got a customer service job, all my grandmother knew was, oh my gosh, you have an office job. I'm so proud of you, right? So I was proud of myself at the time because that's where my expectations and goals for myself were at the time. But I kind of got stuck in customer service. Did a couple other things in between there, but I kind of got stuck in customer service for, like I said, over a decade, and I needed out. Like I've never really been a huge people person, especially with people who are reluctant to really deal with you. So if you've worked customer service, you know that people don't call to tell you that your company's doing a great job. They call you to complain about something. They call you because they have a problem. So you just talk to angry people all the time for 13 years. So I got sick and tired of it, and I said I'm going to, and I was in school off and on, um, but I found this, and I found that so they say, I didn't need to have a bachelor's degree to do it. So I wanted to find out if that was the case. Well, not find out, because I believed it. So that's why I started, studying in the field. So that's what I did back in, like I said, November, December of 2017. I don't remember exactly when. I started studying, and I left the job that I had at the time by the end of January of 2018. Some might call it brave, some might call it foolish. I think it was a combination of both. So I left to do, I had started a web design company, which I found that I wasn't happy with that. I'd much rather the actual coding and programming part of it rather than the design. But I got caught up trying to make money so that I didn't have to work the job that I was working at the time. So I left, and I was doing that for about 5 months, and I made no money. Um, I was doing some side things, and I lost my car, actually. My car was repossessed during that time because I made no money. And, thanks to my wife and the fact that we had gotten an apartment all together with my mother-in-law, my wife's mother, so that our expenses were a little bit lower. So, we didn't die. We made it through that time period. My ego died a little bit, and my bank accounts, my personal bank accounts died a lot. My credit, which was already not that good, tanked, like the lowest that it had ever been. What else happened? Yeah, and I just racked up bills. And like I said, my car was repossessed. I was already upside down in my loan to begin with, because like I said, my credit wasn't that great. So yeah, it was a rough 5 months. And then I went back to what I know, which was customer service. Now, like they say, hindsight is 2020. If I would have known what I know today, I would have studied more in that 5 month time period than trying to make money, because I didn't make any anyway. So I should have just studied more. But anyway, neither here nor there. Nothing we can do about the past at this point. But I went back to what I knew. I got a job in customer service. I've been on that job now I started that job last June. So I've been on that job now for a little over a year. And during that time period, I was still studying. Not as consistent as I wanted to, but I was still studying. I got to the point where I felt like I was ready to go ahead and start applying for jobs. I redid my portfolio. It's still not great. It doesn't have that many examples of my actual coding, really. But that's what I had. So, and then I created a cute little resume because I had looked into some things. I was doing a lot of research on YouTube. So I'm going to shout out a lot of people in coming videos, because you all were such a huge resource for me. But what I did was I redid my resume. Instead of, a regular black and white resume, I did a little something I had started in Photoshop, but then I did some more research and I found that InDesign was better because you can go in and edit it easier than you can with Photoshop, because of, the text blocking, and that it's a little bit difficult in Photoshop to make this a living document, which of course your resume should be. So I created that in InDesign, and I was so excited. I linked it on my portfolio and I started applying to jobs. I applied to, I didn't count. So I know some people kind of keep track. They might have an Excel spreadsheet or something, but I wasn't that organized. I just applied to stuff and kept the emails that I got to, sort of confirm that I had submitted my application. So I have no clue really how many jobs I applied to. Maybe I'll count in another video, let you all know how many jobs I applied to. Anyway, I got a couple of phone interviews. They were more so for desktop support than coding or development. But I did get one interview. So it's crazy because I had found out that, even though I hadn't done as much coding as I had wanted to, I learned how to code emails. The way that I learned how to code emails was I took this kind of freelance job where the person was asking for email templates to be developed and uploaded into a software called Pardot. So I had never heard of Pardot. I knew that emails only took basically HTML, some CSS to code. So I knew that I could do that. So I took the job and I did a little research real quick and found out that, this was definitely something I was capable of doing. So I did the job. It took me a little over, I don't know how long it took me, 6 hours actually, because I remember. So and I'm gonna tell you how I remember. So the person said, "Oh, we're paying $100 an hour," and I was just like, "Okay, that sounds pretty crazy, but I'm new to this field. Maybe this is really important and valuable to them. I don't know." So it took me 6 hours to do what they needed. So they wanted a couple of emails coded, a couple of email templates, and a couple of basic web pages that they could kind of fill in, coded as well. So I did that. It took me 6 hours. I billed them for $600. Long story short, they never paid me. They ghosted me. They blocked me on Facebook. They blocked me on Facebook. It was like an ordeal for 5 days. They did the same thing to someone else at the time. Now, mind you, I was upset, and I was like, you know what? I'm not, and of course my wife, like, she's a huge support. So she's like, yeah, you lost that time. You could have been doing other things, but you learned something new. And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I learned something new. Like, would I have learned email development if this person didn't do what they did? Like, if they didn't, take my work and do whatever. So I don't know if the company was theirs, or if the company that they needed the email templates for, like, I don't know if the company was theirs or the company had hired them and they decided to get someone else to do the work and get paid by the company. I have no clue what the case was, because again, the person blocked me, so I wasn't able to find anything out. So not that they would have told me anyway, but anyway, this is how I learned email development. Fast forward maybe 6 or 7 months, I keep seeing this job for an HTML email developer. And now at this point, I'm getting a little bit discouraged, because I'm like, this is not coming along as fast as I would like it to. Even though I really wasn't putting in the work for it to happen as fast as I would like it to. Anyway, but, I was getting discouraged, and I was, thinking that, and I was seeing all these job posts that wanted at least a bachelor's in computer science or software development. Of course, I didn't have that. And so I came across this job, or I came across a video actually first of someone, and I really don't remember who it was. That's horrible. I don't remember who it was, but because I've watched so many YouTube videos in the past year and a half. But someone was like, I guess they were answering a question of whether or not you could find a job with only the knowledge of HTML and CSS. And they were like, yes, email development. So I started the search for that, and I found this job. Like, there was this one single job in my area for HTML email development. Apparently, there's not a lot of these jobs. So I started doing a worldwide search on LinkedIn as well. And, even worldwide, like, there's just not that many. So in my area, there was, like, I think there ended up being 2, but there was just one that I really had my eye on for a long time. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to apply to it. So that's what I did. I applied to it. They hit me back. Like, either I applied to it that night, like late that night when obviously no offices will be open, or very early that morning. Either way, at like 9:30 a.m., I got an email from them saying, hey, we'd like to, we received your application. We'd like to move forward. And I was ecstatic. Like, I'm at work at my customer service job that I hate, when I get this email, and I'm ecstatic. Like, I had to go in the bathroom and gather myself, because that's how excited I was to get a response back that quickly at that. So I'm like, of course I'm interested. I of course I would like to, see what the next steps are. So they tell me, okay, you have to complete a test. So they send me this email test. I aced the test. At first I was nervous, obviously, because it's the first time I ever did this, first time I ever got a response from anyone in this field. So they sent me the test. The test was basically making changes to a template that they already have. So this is an agency and it's already established. So this is what their normal daily work is. So that's what they tested me on. So they're like, okay, this is an old template. We need to update this for the new sales that are going on, right? So I did it. They had me kind of swap out photos. So I had to do a little photo editing, which was basically just cropping in Photoshop, and stick those photos in. And then I had to make sure that everything, that the links to their website was correct. There was, basically they said, make sure all links are updated and correct. So I did that. I went through everything. There was one thing that they said no one else did, which was I put in the phone number. Like, I looked for the phone number links. I happened to notice when I was combing through and making sure that I did everything that was required, I noticed that there were phone number links as well, and not just, website links or email links. So I put in the phone number to be able to call right from the email, if you were looking at the email from like a mobile phone, which most of us do these days. So I combed through the whole email and made sure that every link where there was supposed to be a phone number, you were able to just dial. from the email on a mobile phone, right? So they said that I was the only one in the test, like when I actually got the interview. So spoiler alert, I got the interview. They said that I was the only one that found that detail and filled that in. So they were really impressed with that. And of course, I'm jumping for joy at this point. So they gave me an interview after viewing my test. I got an interview for maybe 2 weeks or so after that. I don't remember how far later it was, or how far in the future it was from when I took the test. But they gave me an interview. I went and I interviewed with the team lead of the email development team, and it went really well. Like it was so comfortable. Like I was nervous just because of what it is and just because I have anxiety, so I'm a nervous person. But outside of that, like it was so comfortable. It was a pretty casual office and all of that. So I was really excited. I love the atmosphere, the vibe of the office and everything. And, everyone just coding away with their headphones on, doing their thing. And so after the interview, took a tour of the office, and that was it. She was like, give me a couple weeks, and, we have some more interviews. We'll get back to you. A couple weeks passed. I didn't hear anything, so I followed up. And, they were basically saying, we're still reviewing. We'll get back to you. So like a month passed. I followed up again, and I don't remember what else they told me, but I followed up a few times in like a 5-month period, and they were like, we're still like, the last thing that they told me was something about budget, and I'm like, budget? Like that's not a no. Like if they weren't interested in hiring you, I feel like they would just be like, no, they wouldn't mention anything about your budget. But I'm thinking like, dog, it's been 5 months at this point. Like this company has moved on. They found somebody else. I had seen that they posted the same job ad like several times. Like I probably seen it pop up because I had, how you get the job notifications from ZipRecruiter and all those different places. So I had gotten that notification like 5 times that they posted the job ad again. So I'm like, oh, and in the job ad it said you need a bachelor's degree in computer science or something, and I didn't have that. So I was like, all right, well, it wasn't me. They didn't pick me. They moved on. But that wasn't true. Like that wasn't true. So they hit me back. Like I followed up with them probably like 2 weeks ago from today, and they were like, oh, and it was like a Friday or something. Like it was at the end of the week. So at the beginning of the next week, which was like, I don't remember if it was last week or the week before that. Anyway, everything's running together in my life. But so they followed up with me, and they were like, great news, final steps is a background check. And a company doesn't waste resources and give you and pay for a background check if they don't want you. So I'm super excited at this point. I don't have any criminal background, so I'm like, all right, this is it. I got this freaking job. So I completed the information for the background check on a Friday. The company that they use is awesome because they alert you when the background check is back, and they let you see it. So I pulled it up on that Monday, and it was like, 000, no background, everything's clear, whatever. So I hit them up like, hey, just following up. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't actually hit them up because she had already told me that the decision maker was out of the office and wouldn't be back until the following week. So I hit them up at the end of that week, but they weren't in the office. Like the HR person I was working with, or the team lead from the email development team, she was not in the office either. And then, so on Monday, I get an email early. It was like 7 something. And they're saying, oh, I'm sorry, I was out of the office. The executive director, who was the decision maker that I was referring to, they were saying that they were going to reach out to the executive team. Next thing I know, it's like an hour and a half later, and it wasn't even 9 o'clock yet, and I get this email that says offer letter, and I was so freaking excited. Like my wife's birthday was this weekend, so we didn't work. Like we took a long weekend, so we weren't at work yesterday, and so we're in the room, like in the bed, like excited, like overjoyed, like I really got this job. I don't have a bachelor's degree. I studied this on my own with the help of YouTube videos, free code camp. What else did I use? That's it, like for the most part, you know. And I really got this job. Like, I start the job next month. I'm still so freaking excited. Like, it's kind of surreal. I wanted to tell everybody. I haven't actually put in the notice at my current job yet because I haven't been back to work yet. But when I go back, it's like I'm excited to go back to work so I can put in my notice, just because like I'm just so excited. One, I wanted to get out of there. Like, I feel like I'm finally out of customer service. Yes. And I'm just so excited that I was able to accept this position. Like, for once, a job that I actually want to do. Like, it's not like, oh, I need this job to pay my bills. No, I actually want this job, and I'm so excited to start it. So, I said to myself, I can't stop not sharing. I have to stop not sharing this journey with other people who are trying to do something similar. So here I am. This video went on a little bit longer than I expected. Hopefully I can edit some things out. It won't be that long. But I just wanted to kind of give you all an intro to who I am, what I've been doing over this time period, and kind of just share the rest of this journey with you all. I plan to obviously do some more coding, so I want to do that on camera and share it with you all, and that way, you know, if you're learning as well, you can follow along with me and we can learn together. You know, if you have any tips, feel free to share them. If you have any questions about my journey so far, or maybe going forward, what I plan to do, feel free to comment below. You know, send me a message. You know, I'm open to sharing things with you all if you have questions. I'm open to any suggestions that you might have. If you're, you know, senior to me in this field, which probably almost anyone in this field is because I'm just starting out. But if you have any suggestions, if you want to connect, like, hit me up, you know, comment, send me a message, whatever. So I hope that, you know, the journey that I'm on can inspire someone else to believe that they can do this, because I'm telling you, I only half-ass believe that I can do this. But like, I've got my foot in the door. That's all I wanted, and I'm ready to do my thing. I'm ready to keep learning. I'm ready to meet great people. I'm ready to make a difference. You know, so I'm ready. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching my video. Feel free to subscribe if you're interested in following the rest of my journey. And, you know, peace out.